Beneath the veneer of skepticism, reality bears witness to chilling truths. In the haunting corridors of history, where shadows dance with undeniable evidence, remember this, the stories are true. Prepare for a revelation. Where the supernatural is stripped of fiction, and the unknown is laid bare. Are you ready to confront the undeniable? The stories are true.
In a chilling revelation, legendary English singer-songwriter Gary Numan recounted a harrowing paranormal experience that left him and his friend terrified on the London Underground. The Cars hitmaker, known for pioneering the electronic music genre, claims to have encountered the spirit of an old man dressed in 1940s attire, only to witness the ghostly figure vanish into thin air. The eerie incident dates back to Numan's youth, when he and his friend Gary Robson ventured to London to purchase his first decent guitar. Little did they know that this ordinary excursion would transform into an unforgettable brush with the supernatural. As Numan vividly recalled, they were on the Piccadilly line, disembarking at Piccadilly Circus Station. Engrossed in their conversation about music and aspirations of forming a band, they mindlessly followed a group of people ahead, unaware of the paranormal encounter that awaited. There was this old man in front of me 3 or 4 steps further up. He sort of dressed like he was from the 40s, but a lot of old people do. They dress from the era that they know. So he had the fedora hat on, long gray coat, Numan described, initially unfazed by the elderly gentleman's vintage appearance. However, the situation took an unsettling turn when they reached the top of the stairs. Numan and Robson followed the man as he rounded a corner, only to find themselves in a sealed-off tunnel with no apparent exit. The old man had simply vanished into thin air, leaving the bewildered pair grappling with the inexplicable. We both saw him. We both followed him. Now, by the time this has happened and we stood there and thought about it, the few people that were behind us have now gone the correct way. They've gone off where they're going. So now we're on our own in this stub of a tunnel, totally freaked out now. Really, really frightened. He must have gone through the wall. He's just vanished. This man has vanished, but we both followed him, Numan recounted, his voice laced with residual terror. The shared experience between the two friends lent credence to the unnerving event, preventing them from dismissing it as a mere figment of their imagination. Gripped by fear and the realization that they had potentially witnessed a ghost, the duo fled the scene in search of safety. Numan, who has sold over 10 million records throughout his illustrious career, admitted that the ghostly encounter has haunted him and Robson to this very day. The vivid memory remains etched in their minds, a testament to the unexplained phenomena that lurk in the shadowy corners of the world we inhabit. While paranormal skeptics may dismiss Numan's account as mere fiction or misinterpretation, the visceral fear he and his friend experienced that fateful day on the London Underground cannot be denied. For those who believe in the existence of spirits, this chilling tale serves as a reminder that the veil between the living and the dead may be thinner than we realize.
Hold tight for the next one.
In the aftermath of the Civil War, Birmingham, Alabama emerged as a beacon of industrial prowess, its genesis marked by the founding of the city in 1871. Among the crucial enterprises that burgeoned during this era was Sloss Furnaces, a cornerstone of the nation's infrastructure revival, spearheaded by Colonel James Withers Sloss. As the demand for pig iron surged to mend the United States' dilapidated framework, Sloss embarked on the ambitious endeavor of erecting the eponymous furnaces, which commenced operations a year later, drawing in a workforce of hundreds, as chronicled on its official website. Output. However, the allure of prosperity intertwined with perilous undertakings within the confines of Sloss Furnaces. The narrative took a grim turn in the early 1900s under the stewardship of a foreman whose name would become synonymous with dread, James "Slag" Wormwood. Accounts from Reader's Digest paint a chilling portrait of Wormwood, whose reckless pursuit of heightened productivity led to an alarming escalation in workplace fatalities. Nearly 50 souls met their demise on site during his tenure, their lives claimed by harrowing accidents that punctuated the industrial landscape. Legend has it that in a macabre twist of fate, Wormwood himself met his end in the very inferno he had presided over, purportedly flung into the searing depths of the furnace by vengeful hands in 1906. Despite the passage of time, the spectral vestiges of Sloss Furnaces' dark legacy refuse to fade into oblivion. Daredevil visitors embarking on nocturnal forays through the grounds recount eerie encounters with the apparition of Wormwood, whose spectral visage is said to prowl the corridors, his phantom voice echoing commands of bygone days, "Get back to work." Yet, the macabre lure extends beyond mere whispers of the past. Numerous testimonies from erstwhile workers speak of inexplicable phenomena, from unexplained shoves near the molten iron baths to spectral injunctions urging them to resume their labor long after the factory fell silent. The saga took a sinister turn in 1971 on the precipice of Sloss Furnaces' closure, when Samuel Blumenthal, the intrepid overseer of the night shift, encountered a horror that defied rational explanation. As he embarked on a poignant farewell tour through the hallowed halls of the furnaces, fate thrust him into a confrontation with a monstrosity that straddled the boundary between human and demon. Blumenthal's harrowing account, recounted on his deathbed, spoke of a relentless struggle against the abomination, his valiant resistance leaving him scarred by infernal flames that defied the absence of operational furnaces. Succumbing to his injuries, Blumenthal passed away, leaving behind a legacy shrouded in mystery and terror. Today, as visitors brave the spectral echoes of Sloss Furnaces, they tread upon a tapestry woven with the threads of industrial triumph and tragic demise. The legacy of Colonel Sloss's grand vision remains etched in the ironclad annals of history, immortalized by the spectral whispers and lingering shadows that haunt the corridors of Birmingham's industrial titan.
Hold tight for the next one. In Marianna, Florida, there stands a bridge steeped in sorrow and legend. This is Bellamy Bridge, known for the ghost that haunts it. The central figure in this tale is Elizabeth Jane Bellamy, often called the ghost of Bellamy Bridge. In the 1830s, Elizabeth married Dr. Samuel C. Bellamy. Their union was meant to be a joyous beginning, but it ended in tragedy. On their wedding day, Elizabeth, adorned in her wedding dress, crossed a wooden bridge over the Chipola River. Tragedy struck when her dress caught fire. In her panic and pain, Elizabeth fell into the river. Though her burns were severe, it was the river that claimed her life. Her death was a devastating blow, and she was buried along the banks of the Chipola River. Since that fateful night, stories have surfaced about Elizabeth's restless spirit. Witnesses claim to see her ghost wandering near the bridge, dressed in her white wedding gown. Some say they see her aflame, walking through the swamps or diving into the river as if trying to extinguish the eternal flames. Others have reported seeing strange lights and hearing eerie noises in the area. Adding to the bridge's haunted reputation, the Bellamy Bridge has grown in notoriety as a haunted destination over time. It has become the subject of numerous documentaries and supernatural investigations. The legend of Elizabeth Bellamy's ghost has been passed down through generations, becoming an integral part of the local folklore. Despite the lack of historical evidence to support the details of her life and death, the story persists today. Bellamy Bridge is part of the Bellamy Bridge Heritage Trail. This trail allows visitors to explore the area and delve into both the real and mythical history surrounding the bridge. It is a place where the past and present intermingle, where the legend of the ghostly bride continues to captivate those who visit. The tale of the Bellamy Bridge ghost is a poignant reminder of love and loss, whether rooted in truth or born of myth. It is a story that has etched itself into the heart of Marianna, Florida. The legend of Elizabeth Bellamy endures, a spectral presence that keeps the past alive and invites the curious to ponder the mysteries of love and death. Hold tight for the next one. The tragic tale of Katie DeWitt James, from murder mystery to haunting legend. In the early 1900s, Weatherford, Oklahoma, became the setting for a harrowing murder mystery that morphed into a ghost story still recounted today. Katie DeWitt James, a young mother, left her home with her infant daughter after filing for divorce from her abusive husband. She planned to move in with her cousin, but her family never heard from her again. The investigation that followed revealed a sinister turn of events involving a local prostitute named Franny Norton. Katie DeWitt James, a 29-year-old woman, boarded a train on July 7, 1905, with her 14-month-old baby, Lulu Bell. She had just filed for divorce from her abusive husband the day before and was heading to her cousin's home. Her father, who saw her off at the train station, expected to hear from her upon her arrival, but weeks passed with no word from Katie. Desperate for answers, her father hired Detective Sam Bartell to locate his missing daughter and granddaughter. Bartell's investigation uncovered disturbing details. Rather than reaching her cousin, Katie disembarked in Weatherford, where she met up with Franny Norton, a well-known local prostitute. Witnesses later reported seeing Norton take Katie and the baby for a ride near Deer Creek. They were gone for just under an hour before Norton returned alone with the baby, whom she left at a nearby farm. Katie was never seen alive again. The search for Katie ended in tragedy. In August, a fisherman and his son discovered a fully clothed skeleton under a wooden wagon crossing at Deer Creek. The skull, found 3 feet away from the body, bore a bullet wound just behind the right ear. Nearby, investigators found a .38 caliber gun. The remains were identified as those of Katie DeWitt James. It was concluded that she had been murdered and her body left at the creek. The prime suspect, Franny Norton, was apprehended by Detective Bartell. However, she denied any involvement in Katie's death. On the day she was supposed to be questioned by the police, Norton took her own life by poisoning herself, adding another layer of mystery to the tragic case. Despite Norton's death, rumors persisted that Katie's ex-husband had orchestrated her murder with Norton's assistance. Yet, with Norton's demise, many questions were left unanswered. The community was left to grapple with the brutal end of a young mother. The site where Katie's body was discovered became known as Dead Woman's Crossing, a name that endures to this day. 80 years after the murder, the wooden crossing was replaced by a concrete bridge, but the haunting legacy of the place remained. Locals began reporting eerie phenomena, a blue light floating around the town, the sound of a woman searching for her baby, and the unsettling noise of wheels rolling in the night. Katie DeWitt James's tragic story has since become a part of local folklore, a blend of historical fact and ghostly legend. The tale serves as a grim reminder of a life cut short and the enduring mysteries that surround her death. Whether through supernatural occurrences or the stark reality of historical records, Katie's presence in Weatherford remains a poignant and unsettling chapter in the town's history. Hold tight for the next one. The Haunted Harlow House, a chilling tale of death and paranormal activity. Los Angeles is a city steeped in haunted history, and few places embody this as vividly as the Bavarian-style home in Beverly Hills once owned by legendary actress Jean Harlow. This grand residence, known as the Harlow House, has borne witness to a series of tragic events that have left an indelible mark on its very walls. The Harlow House first gained notoriety in 1932, when it was the site of a shocking and suspicious death. Jean Harlow's husband, Paul Byrne, was found lifeless, a gunshot wound to the head, standing before the mirror in the couple's bedroom. Instead of alerting the authorities, their butler bizarrely called MGM Studios, fueling rumors that Byrne's demise was not simple. Suspicion fell upon Byrne's ex-girlfriend, whose own life ended in tragedy just days later when she leapt from a boat to her death. Harlow, devastated, moved out of the home she had shared with her late husband, only to meet her own untimely end a few years later at the tender age of 26 from kidney failure. But the Harlow House's dark history was far from over. In 1963, celebrity hairstylist Jay Sebring purchased the property and took up residence there with his girlfriend, the beautiful Sharon Tate. Tate, who would later leave Sebring for director Roman Polanski, openly spoke of the eerie occurrences she experienced within the home's walls. According to Tate's own accounts and those of her friends, she was frequently plagued by the sight of a creepy little man whom she believed to be the ghost of Paul Byrne himself. On one particularly terrifying night, when she was alone in the master bedroom, Tate claimed to have witnessed Byrne's apparition scuttling into the room, intent on some unknown mission. Fleeing in terror, she encountered an even more horrifying sight on the staircase, a ghostly figure with its throat slit, suspended from the banister. Tate's experiences were not limited to ghostly apparitions. On the same fateful night, she discovered a hidden bar area behind a bookcase, as if guided by some unseen force. Compelled to tear away the wallpaper, she revealed a solid copper base, adding to the home's air of mystery and intrigue. Tragically, Tate's own life would end in a manner eerily reminiscent of the horrors she had witnessed at the Harlow House in 1969, While 8 months pregnant, she and Jay Sebring were brutally murdered by members of the Manson family cult, their deaths mirroring the gruesome sights Tate had encountered years earlier. The Harlow House stands as a grim reminder of the tragedies that have unfolded within its walls. Its history is intertwined with the lives of Hollywood's brightest stars, cut short by violence and tragedy, and a lingering presence of forces beyond our understanding. For those brave enough to venture within its confines, the Harlow House promises an encounter with the paranormal that will haunt the mind long after one has left its eerie embrace. Hold tight for the next one. While haunted houses often get the limelight, haunted apartments can be just as terrifying, if not more so. With a higher turnover rate, there's an increased likelihood that something sinister may have taken place within those walls before you moved in. This was undoubtedly the case for one family at 455A Sackett Street in Brooklyn. The family's ordeal began in April 1998 when they relocated to the 3-story apartment, including a basement. From the outset, an eerie presence permeated the space. It was an incredibly dark apartment, recalls the daughter, who was 14 at the time. Though we should have been thrilled because it was the first apartment we'd ever had with more than one floor, there was a constant feeling of someone standing just behind you or staring at you wherever you went. Tragically, within 2 weeks of moving in, the daughter was raped in her bedroom by a man from the neighborhood. An elderly neighbor informed them that no one had occupied the apartment for more than a year at a time, and terrible tragedies befell all previous tenants within weeks of arrival. Strange occurrences soon became commonplace. The ceiling above the brother's bed collapsed, narrowly missing him. An inexplicable fire broke out in the daughter's room, and she nearly perished had a friend not alerted her. Haunting visions followed. A friend saw a little boy in burnt rags in the bathroom mirror, while another witnessed a woman walking into the daughter's room. Disembodied children's laughter and crying echoed through the basement, where the mother felt a cold, scaly hand on her shoulder while doing laundry. Attempts to install a phone line failed, leaving the family isolated. After a year of torment, the family fled. Subsequent tenants made a grisly discovery while renovating the basement: the body of a child entombed in the wall. They, too, abruptly abandoned the apartment. In a chilling coincidence, the mother's co-worker had previously resided at 455A Sackett Street. She recounted experiencing the same harrowing phenomena, suggesting it may have triggered her nervous condition. While the family escaped unharmed, their haunting served as a stark reminder to trust one's instincts. If you get horrible vibes from a place, don't put it off as folly, the daughter warns. It might just save you a whole lot of trouble. The dark history of 455A Sackett Street remains shrouded in mystery, but one thing is certain: this haunted apartment left an indelible mark on all who dared to call it home. Hold tight for the next one. The dramatic and desolate ruins of Corfe Castle rise majestically from the serene Dorset countryside, their presence a stark contrast to the surrounding tranquility. Perched upon a hillside, these ancient stones overlook the quaint village of Corfe, a sentinel of history amidst a pastoral landscape. The castle's origins trace back to the Norman conquest, its formidable walls first raised by William the Conqueror himself. This vast tapestry of history, woven with threads of conquest and betrayal, imbues the castle with an eerie atmosphere, ripe with ghostly legends. The construction of Corfe Castle began shortly after William the Conqueror's invasion in 1066, serving as both a fortress and a royal residence. Over centuries, it became a symbol of Norman strength and royal power, enduring countless sieges and conflicts. The strategic importance of the castle made it a coveted prize during the English Civil War, where it saw its most dramatic and fateful days. The royalist Banks family, staunch supporters of King Charles, first bravely defended it against the parliamentarian forces, cementing the castle's place in history. Foremost among the spectral tales that swirl around these ancient stones is that of the woman in white, whose ethereal figure is most often glimpsed on the bridge leading up to the castle's ruined gates. The identity of this ghostly lady remains shrouded in mystery, but local lore whispers that she may be the restless spirit of a young woman who, during the turmoil of the Civil War, betrayed the castle and its loyal inhabitants. It is said that she turned against the royalist Banks family, delivering them into the hands of their enemies, the Roundheads. This act of treachery has forever bound her to the castle's fate. The woman in white was last reportedly seen in 1967, when a local man claimed to have encountered her wandering the narrow streets of Corfe village itself. Yet, she is but one of the phantoms that haunt these ruins. On many a night, mysterious lights flicker upon the ramparts, and the air is occasionally pierced by the plaintive cries of a child, echoing through the stone corridors. These apparitions and sounds add to the castle's haunted reputation, drawing both skeptics and believers in the supernatural. Beyond the ghostly encounters, the castle ruins themselves tell a tale of architectural evolution and resilience. The remains of towering keep, sturdy walls, and ancient guardhouses offer a glimpse into the medieval life that once bustled within its confines. The passage of time has left its mark, with weathered stones and crumbling towers, yet the grandeur and strength of Corfe Castle endure, a testament to its historical significance. As you walk through the remnants of the Great Hall and peer through arrow slits that once served as defensive vantage points, the past comes vividly alive. Today, Corfe Castle is under the stewardship of the National Trust, inviting visitors to explore its storied ruins and delve into its rich and fascinating history. The castle grounds, meticulously maintained, offer a blend of education and enchantment. Interpretative displays, guided tours, and historical reenactments breathe life into the ancient stones, allowing visitors to immerse themselves in the tumultuous events that shaped this fortress. As you wander through the crumbling remains, the whispers of the past seem to come alive, the ancient stones telling tales of glory and defeat, of loyalty and betrayal. Hold tight for the next one. In a secluded and serene nook of the Dartmoor landscape, ensconced within a picturesque woodland estate and gardens, stands the venerable Buckland Abbey. This historic edifice, with its timeless stone walls and ancient echoes, was originally built as a monastery. The abbey's monastic tranquility, however, was shattered when it fell victim to the sweeping reforms of King Henry VIII, who ruthlessly disbanded it during the dissolution of the monasteries. This once sacred sanctuary then entered a new chapter in its storied existence. In 1581, Buckland Abbey was purchased by the intrepid Sir Francis Drake from his formidable rival, Sir Richard Grenville. At this juncture, Drake had just returned from his triumphant 3-year circumnavigation of the globe. Hailed by many as a national hero, his name was sung in taverns and courts alike, and his daring exploits on the high seas had cemented his place in the annals of history. Yet, amidst the accolades and admiration, a darker murmur rippled through the local populace, tainting Drake's celebrated name. Whispers of dread and suspicion began to circulate among the locals, who feared that Drake's unparalleled successes were not merely the result of human endeavour. They believed that he had forged an unholy pact with the devil himself, a sinister alliance that enabled him to vanquish the mighty Spanish Armada. These eerie suspicions deepened when Drake's extensive renovations of Buckland Abbey, an endeavour that should have taken months, mysteriously concluded within a mere 3 days. Such an uncanny feat was readily attributed to infernal intervention. Further fueling the superstitions of the time, legend holds that Sir Francis Drake's restless spirit haunts the abbey to this very day. Bound by a spectral doom, his ghost is fabled to traverse the moors in a sinister black coach, drawn by headless horses and led by a cacophony of chattering goblins. This phantasmagoric vision is etched deeply into the folklore of the region, a chilling testament to Drake's legendary and feared presence. The image of the headless horses, driven by a malevolent force, adds a nightmarish quality to these tales, ensuring that the story of Drake's ghost remains a potent and enduring part of Dartmoor's haunted heritage. Today, Buckland Abbey stands under the stewardship of the National Trust, inviting visitors from near and far to explore its storied halls and lush gardens. Among the relics of yore, the infamous drum of Sir Francis Drake commands particular attention. Cloaked in mystery, it is said to harbour Drake's indomitable spirit, and its ominous beat is believed to sound whenever England is imperilled. The last reported echo of this drum's solemn sound was heard on the eve of the First World War, further enshrining the legend of Sir Francis Drake within the annals of English history. Visitors stand in hushed awe before this relic, contemplating the eerie possibility that the drum might yet again resound in times of national crisis. Thus, Buckland Abbey remains a place where history and myth intertwine, a testament to the enduring legacy of its enigmatic former master and the spectral echoes of Dartmoor's haunted past. The Abbey's ancient stones whisper tales of heroism and dread, of triumph and supernatural terror. As the mists of Dartmoor swirl around this historic estate, one can almost hear the faint echo of a drum, a reminder that the past is never truly gone but lingers on, waiting to be discovered by those who dare to listen. Hold tight for the next one.
Ahem. In the rolling countryside of Norfolk, amongst verdant fields and winding lanes, stands a hallowed structure whose very stones whisper tales of bygone eras. 'Tis Felbrigg Hall, a grand estate spanning nigh 1,700 acres, where the veil between the living and the dead grows gossamer thin. Though the hall presents a visage of pastoral tranquillity, dark murmurings abound of restless spirits who yet linger in its shadowed halls. Foremost amongst these spectres is the ill-fated William Wyndham III, a man whose love of the printed word exceeded even the bounds of mortality. When the flickering flames of misfortune licked hungrily at his dear friend's priceless library in the fateful year of 1809, young Wyndham showed a courage rivaling that of Grecian heroes. Heedless of the searing heat and blinding smoke, he charged into the hellish inferno, desperate to spirit away those leather-bound treasures from obliteration's maw. Alas, his valorous deeds came at a terrible cost, for in his haste a grievous fall did lay him low. Though the tomes were preserved, their saviour succumbed mere weeks later to injuries most foul. Yet even the icy grasp of death could not sunder Wyndham's bond with the works he so coveted in life. For lo, it is said his disembodied essence yet haunts the Gothic library, where ponderous shelves groan beneath the weight of long-forgotten lore. Nor is this restive shade the sole unearthly tenant of the hall's gabled corridors. Oft have the maids been affrighted by an unseen presence extinguishing their candled lights, whilst drawing nigh a mysterious chamber. A woman's beckoning voice summons from within, yet each time the room stands vacant, leaving naught but a shivered chill upon the air. So let those bold of spirit come make their way to this repository of spirits twain, mortal and ethereal, tread lightly upon the Persian carpets, and gaze in wonder at treasures gathered from 100 conquered lands. But mark well the susurrant whispers and spectral shapes flickering in your peripheral vision, lest you join the cursed ranks of Felbrigg's undeparted dead.
Hold tight for the next one.
Hello, and I want to thank you for watching my videos. I do appreciate that. The next video you're going to watch is a true experience I had myself whilst I was at HMS Mercury. I can't understand what happened and I can't explain it, but it's something that I can't forget, and I hope you enjoy it anyway. And again, thank you for watching and supporting my channel. Thank you.
It was the winter of 1973 at HMS Mercury in Petersfield, Hampshire. A week before Christmas, on the bleak Wednesday of December 20th, I found myself yearning for home, having been away for 5 long weeks, with my departure delayed until Christmas Eve. As I ambled past Eagle Block one afternoon, a voice pierced the chilly air behind me, calling out, "Mick!" It was unmistakably the voice of my dear mother, Anne Wilson. I spun around, expecting to see her familiar face, but was met with an empty path, no one in sight. Later that same day, I found myself in the dimly lit TV room, crowded with sailors, all engrossed in the news. I had taken a seat at the back, the wall a solid presence behind me. Suddenly, from the darkness, the voice came again. "Mick!" In my mother's distinct tone. I turned to the void, my heart pounding, but there was no one there. None of my comrades stirred or seemed to hear it. Only my family, my mother, father, brother and sister, called me Mick. In the Navy, I was known as Tug. The following morning, December 19th, before noon, I was summoned by my divisional officer with a grave expression. He inquired about my last visit home and then broke the news that my mother was in the hospital. I was granted compassionate leave without delay. I journeyed by car to Wakefield and hurried to Pinderfields Hospital, where I found my mother in a ward. My brother John, also serving in the Royal Navy in Rosyth, Scotland, had been granted leave as well and was there by her side just 5 weeks prior. My mother had seemed in good health. Now I was confronted with the cruel reality of her undisclosed battle with cancer. On Thursday, January 3rd, 1974 at 6:30 p.m, my mother passed away, having shielded her suffering from both me and my brother. In the years that followed, I asked John if he had ever experienced a similar phenomenon of hearing his name called out. He had not. The spectral call of Mick remains a poignant and mysterious echo in my memory, a connection to my mother's final days that I will never fully understand. Thanks for joining us on this eerie adventure. If you enjoyed the chills, don't forget to subscribe. More mysteries await. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay curious.